You and I live in a polarized America, but what if there is something diabolical behind those divisions? The result of a puppet master, so to speak, who's been manipulating us for centuries. You really ought to check out the new book by Steve Deace that really discusses who might be behind something like this. We are pleased to welcome in the syndicated host of the eponymously named Steve Deace Show. Steve Deace is the author of the new book, A Nefarious Plot. Steve, we really appreciate your time tonight to talk in depth about the book. Now, when I picked it up and started reading it, I thought of the Screwtape Letters by C.S. Lewis, and I also thought of House of Cards. Is that a reasonable combination?
That's a very good cross-section, J.D. You absolutely nailed it. The book is a contemporary homage to the Screwtape Letters, the C.S. Lewis classic about Uncle Screwtape, who is teaching his nephew Wormwood how to tempt the human soul. But in this case, this book is written by a demon general from hell named Lord Nefarious, who was tasked by the devil with over a century ago with destroying the United States of America. And now he is so confident that his plan has been successful, he is connecting every dot. He names names, as you find out when you read the book. And he tells you exactly how he did it, and the fact that we won't believe it, that we'll think it's paranoia or it's conspiracy, will be the final proof to his master, the devil, J.D., that his plan has succeeded, and our days as a superpower are numbered.
Got about 3 minutes to discuss this diabolical plan. Can you give us a couple of points that Nefarious uses to try and take down the U.S.?
Well, he walks you through a 7-stage plan. Obviously, I don't want to give the whole thing away. My publisher would kill me. But the first 2 stages of the plan are decadence and debt. That, unlike previous cultures that were destroyed from within, where the decadence was really housed predominantly in the elite classes of people who could afford the choices or the results of their poor moral choices, that wouldn't work in our country, because in our country, the elites, we don't think anyway, run the show as much as the people do. So instead of corrupting one particular institution, you have to corrupt the culture as a whole.
Did it give you the creeps to kind of assume the persona of Lord Nefarious?
It did. It kind of freaked me out, actually. It took me a year to write this book, which is only 200 pages, the exact length of C.S. Lewis's Screwtape Letters. That was not intentional. It was completely serendipitous. But the reason it took me so long, J.D., is I had to walk away from it for weeks or months at a time, because I found myself easily identifying with this character. And, one of the things I point out in the prelude that I write in my own voice, when you end up staring into the mouth of madness long enough, sooner or later it stares back at you. You see your own reflection in there. So, yes, it did give me the creeps at times writing this book.
And an interesting kind of self-analysis where Lord Nefarious has this paragraph. Maybe some brilliant writer came up with this ingenious means of writing fiction to make a larger point, and this is not to be taken literally. A little self-actualization, I think, right there. Is that really the goal of your book, except to take it seriously? You got about 30 seconds, Steve.
That is the mystery of the book. Is it live or is it Memorex, so to speak? Is it a character or a caricature? And as I point out in the book, I'm not looking for a specific response from the public. I'm looking for each individual's response to what Nefarious has to say.
Steve Deace in the new book, A Nefarious Plot. Now, time for the way you see it, your comments via social media. Here first tonight from Daryl, who has this to say about the establishment's efforts to influence the upcoming election. Daryl writes, my question is this: why is the establishment working so hard to go against the will of we the people? And next we hear from David, who has this to say about the people backing Donald Trump. He writes, Trump supporters are part of America that has been forced into exile by political correctness. We are the voice from the past that still believes in God, country, and freedom that has been fought for and blood has been spilled for, yet has been mocked for way too long. We don't want to mock you. We just want your comments. And here's how you send them to me at newsmaxtv.com/comments. A programming comment. Don't forget, tomorrow morning, we will be on the air live from Miami, Battleground, Florida. A 3-hour special that starts at 8 a.m. Eastern. Governor Mike Huckabee will be among those guests who will join us. That'll do it for tonight. Stay brave, stay free, stay tuned.